This is a team.
What is going on? Welcome back to the Unbound Podcast, episode 15, the show where news, culture, and controversy collide, and nothing is off limits. I'm your host, Jay Morales, and tonight we got a lineup that is bold as it is wide-ranging. We are, but before we jump in on the podcast that we have in store for you guys, let me welcome you, the OG of the OGs of the co-hosts, Revelations. How you doing?
I'm doing good, normal day, same shit.
Yep, I felt that in the core, I hope everybody is having a great evening, and I would like to say a few things. I would like to thank everybody who's been tuning in into my page to check out these lives after the fact, and also subscribing. I think right now we have 615 subscribers. Revelations. Yeah, can you believe that, man? We have made it. We're making it.
We're over halfway to 1,000.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have 1.2 million views right now on YouTube on the channel, and yeah, I would like to thank everybody for that. I truly appreciate it. Right now, we got about not on this live, but on the videos and everything on the shorts. So it says here we have about 588,300. 440 now. For some reason, it went up. So thank you again for tuning in, checking it out, and we're gonna jump right in. We're gonna jump right in it, because why? We're in it to win it. All right.
Jay, hold on. I got this one before you start up.
Sure.
Okay, Unbound. You know what time it is. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Oh, shout out to Eddie Weber. Sorry I missed y'all earlier, big homie. A couple of us got pulled from the shop to go film a teaser of the Fox Body Mustang we're unveiling at the SEMA next month. Congratulations, Eddie Weber. Congratulations. That stuff comes first anyway, brother. We'll catch you up on next Monday's episode on the movement with producer Mike over on Producer Mike's Presents YouTube channel. I'm the co-host, and we're gonna be there every Monday. We have some big surprises coming up next week, so make sure you tune in on that. Well, from a massive fire at Chevron El Segundo refinery that threatens the West Coast fuel supplies, to state lawsuit trying to block Trump from deploying the National Guard, and the Supreme Court opening a term that could redefine presidential power. We'll also dive into Trump's ongoing birthright citizenship battle, the latest legal drama for Sean Diddy Combs, and Bad Bunny fiery SNL monologue pushing back against Super Bowl backlash. We'll cover heartbreaking events like the Fort Worth nightclub shooting over the weekend, Texas mom charged with murdering two of her children, and a deadly shootout in downtown Alabama. On the tech front, we got OpenAI's new computing push on AMD chips, plus sports and entertainment stories like Mark Sanchez facing felony charges, Rush announcing a reunion tour after Neil Peart's passing, and President Trump's UFC White House event coming June 14, 2025. 2026. We'll also spotlight urgent economic issues. Leave it warning that WIC and SNAP funds could run out, and wrapping it all up with a discussion on the social media and cultural implications of these events. It's a jam-packed episode full of stories that matter, from breaking news and politics to entertainment, sports, and technology. So buckle up, everybody, because we're about to get unbound. But first things first, let's start with just what shook Southern California. A massive fire erupted at one of the most critical fuel hubs of the entire West Coast over the weekend, Chevron El Segundo refinery, just south of Los Angeles. And make no mistake, what happens there doesn't stay local. This could ripple across the country, from the price you pay at the pump on the cost of your next flight. On Thursday night, October 2nd, around 2:30 p.m., flames tore through Chevron spalling El Segundo refinery, the same facility responsible for producing roughly 20% of California's gasoline and nearly 40% of its jet fuel supply. According to Chevron, the blaze broke out in the Isomax 7 unit, a section designed to process and upgrade jet fuel. The company on-site emergency crews, backed by firefighters from El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach in Los Angeles County, battled the inferno through the night. By early Friday morning, the fire was declared fully extinguished. Officials confirmed that no injuries were reported and that all refinery personnel were safely accounted for. Residents in surrounding neighborhoods were briefly urged to shelter in place as thick smoke blanketed parts of the South Bay. Later air quality tests showed no hazardous toxins levels at the refinery fence line. Through local authorities said they'll continue monitoring emissions as cleanup continues. Chevron temporarily shut down several connected units, including a hydrocracker and catalytic reformer, out of precaution, while assessing structural damage. The company says an internal investigation is underway to determine the cause, and it's working closely with the California Energy Commission and the South Coast Air Quality Management District. This is where things could get dicey for customers or consumers. Energy analysis warned that with this refinery being one of the largest on the West Coast, even a short disruption in production could lead to a 5 to 15 cent jump in gasoline prices, and possibly 20 to 30 cents per gallon if jet fuel outputs remain offline for long. Southern California fuel market is notoriously tight, meaning any hiccup in supply can send prices soaring. The California Energy Commission confirmed it's monitoring the situation and coordinating with Chevron and state regulators to keep track of both fuel inventories and emissions. The latest updates as of today, Chevron announced over the weekend that it has begun making operational adjustments to restore normal production levels. While the crude distillation units remain active, the sections that handle jet fuel processing took the hardest hit. The company warned that residents might notice intermittent flaring, large bursts of flame used to safely burn off excess gases as part of the recovery process. Officials emphasized that the refinery remains stable, but a full timeline for resuming full operations has not been released yet. Economists say Californians could feel the financial pinch at the pump over the next 2 weeks if supply constrains itself. Here's the big question. How much should the public trust when oil giants say everything's under control? We've seen this playbook before. A refinery fire breaks out, prices climb, and somehow they rarely come back down. Is this another round of corporate damage control, or a wake-up call about how fragile our fuel infrastructure is. One refinery fire shouldn't shake an entire state's economy, and yet here we are watching gas prices teeter again. What do you think?
Um, Honestly, I truly do think that well, do we know how big that um refinery is?
We can find out right now. Docket team.
'Cause I mean that'll all like it'll all depend on how big that refinery is. Because if it's fucking massive,
It says here the location is El Segundo, California, just south of Los Angeles. Capacity about 269,000 barrels of crude oil per day.
yeah,
Production
that's
share,
a lot.
yeah, production share supplies roughly 20% of California gasoline and 40% of the jet, of the, yeah, of the state's jet fuel. And the size of the refinery covers around 1,200 acres, making it a major industrial facility in Southern California. So yeah,
Okay,
it's
so if it's just
huge.
California, then I don't think it'll really affect anyone. I think it'll affect just around California. Like I don't
But
think
if
it'll
they have to
affect.
do, but if they have to do with airplanes, gasoline or
True,
fuel.
but I don't think it will. You know what I mean? Much of any other state other than like the surrounding state. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it was like, oh hey, this refinery like it is so big that it like produces the majority of like gas for like the West Coast, then yeah, we would be having a serious problem. But since it's only for like what you said 40% of California,
No,
like
40% of their fuel goes to jet fuel.
okay, so only 20%
Yeah,
of
and then
California?
20, yeah, and then 20%, yeah, 40% of the state's fuel goes to the jets, and then the 20% of California gasoline.
Yeah, so that's really not even that much. I would say it's barely going to affect the surrounding states.
Well, this is what
That's
we got.
probably
This is what we got as an answer for the can the public trust oil company assurances, right? When oil giants say everything's under control, they are technically speaking about immediate safety and containment, not long term economic effects. Their priorities are protecting workers and preventing environmental hazards, maintaining regulatory compliance and public image, avoiding panic buying or negative media coverage. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're being dishonest, but it doesn't mean that the public should assume that there won't be ripple effects. Historically, refinery fires do lead to price spikes, often lasting weeks or months, even if production resumes quickly. That's what I got over here.
I mean, ever since the Exxon Valdez, they've seriously upped their like, oh hey, we need to get our shit under control and like fucking safety and whatnot has really been like a top priority because that whole thing was a shit show, and that landed directly on the whole entire oil fucking industry, and the government went after their ass. So they were like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen again. Because for
That's
years nobody trusted them.
And then second question, what I got here, why do prices rarely drop back down? Supply chain rigidly, sorry, supply chain rigidity, rigidity, refineries like Chevron El Segundo are massive, complex systems. A small shutdown reduces refined fuel supplies for the whole region. Market psychology, traders anticipate disruptions, so futures spike, which keeps prices higher even after the refinery is back online. Limited alternatives. California already imports and distributes fuel at the near capacity, so there's a little cushion to absorb sudden outages. Is this damage control or wake up call? Damage control. Chevron and the others want to prevent public panic and demonstrate they're managing the fire efficiently. The wake up call. The event exposes how fragile fuel infrastructure is, particularly is. Uh, sorry, how fragile the fuel infrastructure is, particularly in areas that rely heavily on single refinery. A single outage can ripple across the economy from commuters to airlines. So the bottom line, the public should take assurance with caution and optimism. Safety may be under control, but economic effects, price shocks, and systematic vulnerabilities remain real. It's a reminder that our energy system is powerful but delicate. That's very true. Anything else you want to add to that before we continue along?
No.
Now shifting focus to the Midwest, where high stakes legal battle is unfolding over the federal authority and the use of the National Guard. Illinois and Chicago have, Chicago, Illinois have gone to court to, it's Chicago. It's not just Chicago, but also, if I'm not mistaken, who's going to court also is Oregon. Oregon and Chicago have gone to court to try and stop the Trump administration from sending troops into the city, and this could have nationwide implications for the imbalance of power between state and federal governments. On Monday, October 6th, today, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Rowe and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson filed a lawsuit against President Donald Trump administration. The suit seeks to prevent the deployment of approximately 700 National Guard troops, 300 from Illinois and 400 from Texas, into Chicago. Officials argue that the move is unlawful and unconstitutional, claiming it violates state sovereignty and federal statutes, limiting military involvement in domestic law enforcement. Among the legal points cited is the Posse Comitatus Act, which generally bars federal troops from performing civilian policing duties without explicit congressional approval. Governor J.B. Pritzker called the deployment an invasion and stressed that it undermines civilian control of the military. He emphasized that Chicago law enforcement is fully capable of maintaining public order without federal troops, and described the federal intervention as political motivated rather than operationally necessary. The deployment. Can everybody see us still? I think I screwed up here. Oh, there we go. What was I? The deployment was authorized by the. Wait, where was I? The deployment was authorized by the White House as means to protect federal property and personnel during ongoing protests, some of which have been sparked by immigration enforcement activities. However, city and state officials condemned that these troops are unnecessary. It could escalate tensions. It might infringe upon the rights of residents exercising their First Amendment protections. Legal experts note that this lawsuit mirrors recent cases in other states, including Oregon, where federal troops were temporarily blocked from Portland. Judges in those cases questioned the executive branch authority to deploy military personnel for domestic operations without a clear and present threat, raising the responsibility that courts could limit similar actions in Chicago. This case is now expected to move quickly through the courts with potential preliminary injunctions to halt the deployment while the lawsuit is litigated. National observers are watching closely as the outcome could set a precedent for future interactions between state governments and the federal military. Discussion closer with Oregon context here. So here's a real conversation on that. If the federal government can deploy troops to a major U.S. city without clear justification, where does that leave local control and citizen protection? And if the states push back successfully, does that reinforce the balance of power or set up a constant tug of war every time protest or unrest arises?
Okay, about that.
Yep.
So, uh, so the Posse Comitatus Act is a 1878 U.S. law that prohibits, now here's where we get into it, the use of the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and most recently Space Force to carry out domestic law enforcement unless expressly authorized by the Constitution or an act of Congress, enacted after the Civil War due to abuses of military power. The act aims to prevent federal military involvement in civilian affairs, protecting democracy and individual liberty. And then we go to modern implications and loopholes. National Guard. The National Guard's deployment under a president's request for federal missions can create gaps in the law's coverage, and some proposals aim to extend the act's restrictions. So yes, the National Guard is the only one that is not covered under the Posse Comitatus Act. The president is the only one that can specifically send the National Guard at any time to any city if need be.
Do you think? Well, let's see. Let me keep reading here. This lawsuit isn't happening in a vacuum. Just recently in Oregon, the federal judge temporarily blocked the deployment of national troops to Portland, citing overreach and a lack of clear justification that president could influence the outcome in Illinois, showing that courts are willing to check executive action when domestic military deployments are questionable. Um, More broadly, federal interventions like this can deeply impact public trust. We already talked about all that. Why is it repeating itself? Only the freaking docket team will be doing this stuff. Um, Visible federal presence and more vulnerable, worried about militarized enforcement and potential escalation. The conversation touches civil liberties, city governance, and the broader discussion on how democracy balances security, state sovereignty, and citizen rights. At its core, this is a test democracy, civil liberties, and the proper limits of executive authority. It's not a legal battle. It's about whether states and citizens can hold the federal government accountable when political tension arises. So, what you were saying, though. So, you're telling me that the president of the United States said just send them in without no.
No,
Just in his
the
own
the
recognizance, not.
no the National Guard is not covered under the Posse Comitatus Act. Only the actual military. Even though the National Guard is part of the military, the National Guard is not. It is part of that legal loophole that they are not covered under it.
Okay.
Both the governor both the governors of states can send them in and use them as police forces, and they are not covered under that act. And the president can send them in and use them as police, and it is not covered. It is only when The only time it will be covered for the president is when he uses them either in is when he declares it as a federal thing, and then it will be um it will then be federalized, and then the Posse Comitatus Act will be uh cover them, unless he also declares it declares the Insurrection Act, and then the Posse Comitatus is removed. In which case he can then send any military in, which he did send, which was where the remember, if you remember, in L.A. He also sent the Marines in because it classified as a insurrection. Because remember, if you remember, there was the potential of the Mexico, because they said they would send armed people over into LA to help the rioters out.
Yeah, that's right.
So that is how that works.
Okay. Some of the more answers to these questions, the local control versus federal intervention. When the federal government deploys troops to a city, even under the guise of restoring order, it can undermine local governance. City and state authorities lose some operational control, limiting how they can respond to local issues. Public perception and shift. Residents can, sorry, residents may feel less safe seeing armed federal forces on their streets. Legal questions arise. Comitatus limits military involvement in domestic law enforcement. So federal troops are usually restricted to support roles, but lines can blur in tense situations. So that goes a little bit to the answer, right?
I mean, the only time it's happened recently was when it was in Washington, D.C. And when they were deployed in Washington, D.C., everyone was like, crime has gone down substantially, and we feel much safer with them here.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to, unless people decide to FAFO, I don't think it's going to, you know, harm fucking the police's ability to do things. Like, but then again, maybe at the same time, the fucking mayor of Chicago shouldn't have been such a dumbass and say, "Oh, hey, instead of funding the police to help lower crime, I'm just gonna build more affordable housing so that way the crime will decrease because they have cheaper places to live." What? How the fuck does that make sense?
Right.
And yes, that was a real thing he said. Like, I'm not shitting you about that.
What else do you know about it?
That was pretty much it. Like, homie was just is off the wall batshit insane, but not as off the wall batshit insane as the fucking New York City mayor. That dude is. Ooh, ooh.
Oh, yeah. All right, moving along to the next topic. On the latest update, the U.S. Supreme Court opened up its new term on October 6, 2025, with a sharp focus on on the current President Donald Trump, expansive claims of presidential authority. With a 6-3 conservative majority, the court is posed to address several pivotal cases that could redefine the limits of executive power. Key cases under consideration include tariffs and emergency powers. The court will examine Trump's unilateral imposition of sweeping tariffs under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Lower courts have found that such actions exceed presidential authority, raising questions about the balance of power between the executive and legislative branches, dismissal of independence agency officials. Another significant case involves Trump's attempt to remove Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Uh, a lower court issued preliminary injunction arguing that the removal uh, violated the Federal Reserve Acts for cause provision, which protects certain officials from arbitrary dismissal. The court is also set to review Trump's executive order attempting to restrict birthright citizenship. Lower courts have blocked the order, citing constitutional concerns, and the Supreme Court's decision could have profound implications for immigration policy and constitutional interpretation. These cases are expected to be argued in the coming months, with decisions that could have lasting effects on the scope of presidential power and the checks and balances inherent in the U.S. Constitution. So here's my discussion. The outcomes of these cases could significantly alter the balance of power in American governance. If the court upholds Trump's expansive claims of presidential authority, it may set a precedent for future administrations to exercise broader executive powers without sufficient checks. Conversely, if the courts imposes limits on such powers, it could reinforce the system of checks and balances that underpins the Constitution. As these cases progress, they will undoubtedly shape the future of American democracy and the relations between the branches of government. What do you think?
Um, um, Honestly, not really sure.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is
I
what we got. If the court upholds Trump's expansive claim, future presidents could gain broader authority. Executive actions previously constrained by law or president might become easier to justify. Checks and balances could weaken. Congress and judiciary might have less power to oversee or limit executive decisions. Long-term president, even after Trump, future administrations would cite these rulings to push the boundaries of presidential power, affecting issues from immigration to economic policy. If the
guess it just all depends on the policies that the next kind of president set and who gets control of the Senate and the House.
Yeah.
That's usually how it always works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, because if you remember Biden, if I'm correct, Biden didn't have control of, I think it was the Senate or the House, so that's why he didn't have a lot of shit passed. Whereas Trump has control of, I think, both. And that's why stuff is being passed. Is it popular with some people? No, but that's how politics works.
Yep.
So, it all depends on who has control over what. So it's just the same thing. Like, you know, there's no real trend other than the set trend that there is. Is it gonna change? No, not unless somebody with a fucking third party comes in and just disrupts the whole last thing. But I don't see that happening because the last time that happened was fucking Teddy Roosevelt with a third party going for a third term, and he got like 14% of the votes and like lost or some shit like that. Because nobody really knew what the fuck his party was, even though he literally went for the same policies.
Yeah. Um. What else here? If the court imposes limits, reaffirming the Constitution, clear boundaries would reinforce that no president is above the law, strengthening oversight. Congress, the courts, and regulatory agencies retain authority to check executive overreach. Predictable governance limits help ensure stability in government operations, protecting both citizen rights and institutional integrity. Broader implications for American democracy. Citizens trust how the court rules can influence public perception of fairness and accountability in government. Branch relations. Decisions will shape how the executive interacts with Congress and the judiciary for years to come. Um, Historical significance. These cases could define the scope of presidential power to for a generation, either expanding it dramatically or reaffirming constitutional limits. The bottom line, though, the Supreme Court cases aren't just legal battles; they're tests of the foundational balance of power in the United States. The outcomes will have ripple effects on law, policy, and democracy itself. So, yeah. Anything else you want to say about that before we move along to the next one?
Not really, no.
All right. Well, another latest news as of October 6th today, five federal courts have anonymously rejected former President Trump's executive order aiming to end automatic birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. to undocumented or temporary residents. The most recent ruling came from the First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Boston, which upheld a nationwide injunction blocking the order. The Trump administration has indicated plans to seek final decisions from the U.S. Supreme Court. The executive order, signed in January 2025, asserts that only children born in the U.S. to parents who are citizens or legal residents are subject to the jurisdiction thereof and thus eligible for citizenship. This interpretation challenges the 14th Amendment citizenship clause, which has been broadly understood to grant citizenship to anyone born on U.S. soil, regardless of parental status. Legal scholarship points to the 1898 Supreme Court case, United States v. Wong Kim Ark, which affirmed birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment as key precedent supporting the constitutional interpretation that the executive order seeks to overturn. The Trump administration argued that the 14th Amendment was intended primarily to grant citizenship to freed slaves and their descendants, and that children born to non citizens do not meet the constitutional requirements of being subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. Um, and then my closing discussions about this is the mounting legal setbacks underscores the challenges the Trump administration faces in enforcing the executive order, with the Supreme Court likely to take up the case, and the nation's highest court will have the opportunity to reaffirm or redefine the scope of birthright citizenship. The outcome could set a significant precedent, impacting future interpretations of the 14th Amendment and the rights of individuals born in the United States. What do you think? You think they should remove it, or you think they should have that? Because they can't have a. Well, let's see. What do you think?
Um, Honestly, I think the whole entire reason they're doing that is because of people coming over here and just having their children and, you know what I mean, leaving so that their kids have um a better life in the US. And so they're American citizens. Like, yeah, I get that their kids, what they want their kids to have a better life. But at the same time, uh, that's like I think they want uh everyone like they want um you know they're trying to get it to be like the safe because half of the time when people do this, it's illegal immigrants that are coming over and doing it kind of dangerously, smuggling themselves over just to do this. And if you see how they do this kind of stuff, like paying people to smuggle them over in a van, that shit is kind of sketchy. All just to, give birth to their children. Like, am I saying, am I not supporting it? No. Am I supporting it? No. But it's it's kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
So, it's in that like gray zone of like if you're gonna do it, like either do it in your country and come over here. Yeah, I know that takes a really long time and a lot of money. But in the long run, you'll be safer and a citizen. Or just, like I don't know, like it's one of those like things no matter how you put it, like people can make you sound like an ass.
Yeah, true that.
Like it's like, oh, well this person's, they hate, immigrants, but it's like no, I want them to not have to fucking potentially put themselves in danger to get their kid a better life because that's literally what they're doing. And that's what this thing is trying to stop. And people don't see that. They're just like, "Oh, well, uh they just don't want, people coming into the country herd der." That's literally not what it is. People just see something like that and they never take the full time to think, "Oh, hey, well, what could it actually be doing?" and trying to stop. They're just like, yeah, this bad, must stop it. But hey, that's my opinion on it.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Uh, in short, the court's decision could either preserve one of America's core democratic ideals or redefine it for generations to come. We'll find out and we'll keep you updated on that. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think, and we'll go back and look at the comments and we'll discuss it with you guys on the next show. Now, moving on to more federal things, as the federal government enters a shutdown, which we are on the sixth day today of the shutdown. Critical support systems are now under threat. Caroline Leavitt, former White House press secretary, has publicly warned that the um, UIC's WIC programs and SNAP food assistance benefits could run out of money very soon if Congress and the executive branch do not come to an agreement. For millions of families and children, and that's not hypothetical, it's a looming crisis. Um, with the fiscal year beginning without appropriations deal, WIC, the Special Supplement Nutrition Program for women, infants, and children, is especially vulnerable. Unlike entitled programs, WIC relies on annual congressional funding, which was not passed before the shutdown. As a result, the program is currently operating on 150 million contingency fund. Experts warn that this buffer could last only 1 to 2 weeks. WIC serves over 6 million low income mothers and children, providing vouchers or nutritional assistance for items like infant formula, fresh fruits and vegetables, low fat milk, and other essentials that many cash strapped households struggle to afford. If the contingency funds evaporate, many states will be forced to decide whether they can cover costs themselves or let benefits lapse. Some states like Connecticut and Mississippi have pledged temporarily support, um, while others warn that they lack the financial flexibility. Meanwhile, the SNAP program faces less immediate danger. October benefits have already been distributed, but because of the shutdown impacts is extending into future months, SNAP could also be at risk if Congress doesn't restore full funding soon. In Georgia, for example, officials have already begun sounding the alarm. WIC may exhaust funds in a matter of weeks, and SNAP beneficiaries are watching nervously as their stability hangs in the balance. Advocates of these programs warn of serious consequences, like newborns, infants, and toddlers who depend on WIC for nutrition support, especially formula, could face nutritional deficits. Families living on tight budgets may have to choose between paying rent, utilities, or feeding their children. Some families might be lost to the system. If benefits lapse, people may not re-enroll, deepening long-term food insecurity. Um, Caroline Leavitt, now speaking more broadly about government operations, has pointed to WIC and SNAP as two programs in immediate jeopardy. Her warning underscores how cuts to these safety net systems disproportionately affect those with the least cushion. The political narrative is already framing this as the test of priorities, which side acts first to end the impasse, and whether protecting vulnerable populations will factor into negotiations. The longer the shutdown continues, the harder it becomes to preserve the integrity of these programs. Forcing states to pick up the slack isn't just financially burdensome, it can deepen inequities between wealthier and poorer states. My discussion here, when programs like WIC is weeks or even days away from collapse, where beyond abstract policy debates, we're talking about real families, real hunger, and real consequences. If benefits disappear, the youngest and most vulnerable, infants, toddlers, pregnant women, are at greatest risk. And for SNAP dependent households, the stakes are similarly high. No access to food, or worse, choosing between the basic survival needs. This is also a political flashpoint. Will Congress restore funding before people go hungry, or will the shutdown extend long enough that states must shoulder responsibility they simply can't afford? What do you think?
Well, I know they're reconvening, I want to say today or tomorrow. So we just gotta hope they make some sort of fucking, you know, that they agree. So
Yeah, we'll see
that's
on
that's
that.
literally all we can hope for, is that they can agree. I don't think they will, given, the
Yeah.
fact that, it's the government.
Yep, yep. Here's what we got over here. The immediate reality: if Congress fails to restore WIC and SNAP funding, millions of families, especially low-income mothers and children, could lose access to basic nutrition assistance within weeks. State governments can also bridge the gap temporarily, but their budgets weren't built to sustain federal programs of this scale. So yes, if the shutdown drags on, states will start running out emergency reserves and food insecurity. the political fault line. If the crisis is about more than money, it's about political will. Democrats are framing this as a moral failure, uh, arguing that the federal government should never gamble with hunger and child health. Sorry. Uh, Republicans, on the other hand, are using the stand up to push of spending caps and policy reforms they say will discipline the budget. That makes the shutdown a proxy battle over the what the government owes it most vulnerable citizens. The long term implications if Congress doesn't act soon, states may be forced to make impossible choices, cutting other programs, borrowing funds, and limiting aid eligibility. And once those safety nets are weakened, it could take months, even years, to fully rebuild them. This isn't just a fiscal issue, it's a moral test of whether lawmakers see hunger as negotiable. So the bottom line is the question isn't just when Congress will act, it's whether compassion still outweighs politics in Washington. And that's what we got over here. Leave it warning is more than a rhetoric. It's a countdown. And as that clock ticks, the human toll becomes increasingly impossible to ignore. Anything else you want to add to that before we move into this next topic?
No?
Oh, we're moving right along to today, man. We're moving right along today. Love it. Oh, soundboard not working. Woo!
I blame it on the docket team for
Yeah,
not being,
docket teams.
they should be on their game with the fucking soundboard.
They have their days, and they have their days. So on October 3rd, over the weekend, Diddy Combs was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in federal prison after being convicted of 2 counts under the Mann Act, which prohibits prohibits transporting individuals across state lines for prostitution. This charges stemmed from allegations that Combs orchestrated drug-fueled sexual encounters involving his former partners in male sex workers over several years. He was acquitted of more serious charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering, which could have resulted in life in prison. The sentencing followed a 2-month trial in Manhattan federal court where women testified about abuse and coercion by Combs. One of the key witnesses was his ex girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who described instances of physical and emotional abuse during their relationship. Another woman, identified as Jane, testified anonymously detailing similar experiences. Combs addressed the court before sentencing, expressing deep remorse and acknowledging the harm caused to his victims. He apologized to Ventura and Jane, and as well as to all the survivors of domestic violence, stating that his actions were disgusting, shameful, and sick. In addition to the prison sentence, Combs was fined for $100,000 and sentenced to 5 years of supervised release. Right, and sentenced to 5 years of supervised release. Yeah, his defense team argued for more leniency, citing his time served and efforts towards rehabilitation. They also presented a video highlighting his philanthropic work and family life. However, the prosecution emphasized the need for accountability, stating that lenient sentence would excuse years of violence. My discussion questions or discussion closer about this. The case has sparked widespread discussion about power dynamics, accountability, and the treatment of survivors in the entertainment industry. It also raises questions about the effectiveness of the legal system in addressing abuse within influential circles. As Combs begins to his sentence, the broader conversation continues about intersection of celebrity justice and the voices of survivors. So the bottom line here is, what do you think about the sentencing? You think that went too light? Do you guys think that they should have gave him life, or do you guys at least what do you guys think?
Puff Glizzy definitely should have gotten life in prison. Like
SC
fuck
Johnson,
that
a
noise.
family
He
company.
never should have gotten fucking acquitted on the prostitution and shit like that in the first place.
SC
Whoever dropped
Johnson,
that
a
ball
family company.
is a literal fucking idiot.
That's called leniency. They went lenient. Too
Well,
lenient.
either that or they got paid off.
Or he just, if you know what I'm saying, the whole
Use
courtroom.
some of that, baby oil.
SC Johnson, a family company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably what getting you copyrighted.
No, it's not that. It's something else. Something else. It isn't our show. Our show doesn't get copyrighted. The only thing our show gets copyrighted is the outro song. That's the only thing. And when I look it up in their website, the people that own the music, it says that they don't do copyright music. So I don't know what the heck is going on. But we're gonna be changing our outro song very soon. I'm gonna be getting involved with some AI and see if we can make a cool song or something. But moving on to segment 6, everybody. Segment 6, the next topic on October 4th, 2025, of this, over the weekend. What are we now? That was Saturday. Saturday 4th, Bad Bunny hosted the season 51 premiere of Saturday Night Live, addressing the controversy surrounding his selection as the 2026 Super Bowl halftime performer. In his opening monologue, he humorously responded to critics, including Fox News personalities, who had expressed disapproval over his over his primarily Spanish language music and Puerto Rican heritage. Bad Bunny response highlighted the cultural significance of his performance and emphasized the contribution of Latinos in the United States. During his monologue, Bad Bunny acknowledged the criticism by stating, "I'm very happy, and I think everyone is happy about it. Even Fox News is happy." He then played a satirical montage of Fox News anchors, edited to appear as though they were praising him, with clips saying, "Bad Bunny is my favorite musician, and he should be the next president." This comedic segment underscored the absurdity of the backlash and turned the criticism into a moment of levity. Levity. And switching to Spanish, Bad Bunny addressed his Latino audience, saying, especially all of the Latinos and Latinas in the world, here in the United States, who have worked to open doors, is more than a win for myself. It's a win for all of us. Our footprints and our contribution in this country are no one will ever be able to take that away or erase it. He concluded his monologue with a lighthearted challenge. If you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn. My closing discussion about this is that Bad Bunny's response during the SNL monologue not only addressed the criticism head on, but also highlighted the broader cultural implications of his performance. His use of humor in bilingual communication served to affirm the significance of Latino representation in the mainstream American events like the Super Bowl. As the performance date approaches, the conversation continues to evolve, reflecting ongoing discussions about identity, representation, and cultural inclusion in the United States. Make sure that you tune in. February 8th, 2026 for Super Bowl 60. It's going to be a great football game, of course, but it's also going to be a very, 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 very historical show for every Latino out there in the world. Now, moving along to the next segment. Tragedy has struck Fort Worth, Texas, early Saturday morning, October 4th, when a shooting at a popular nightclub left 1 dead and 5 others injured. This incident not only highlights ongoing safety concerns in entertainment districts, but also underscores the persistent challenges of gun violence in urban areas. The shooting occurred at the Social Live nightclub located in 3000 block of Bledsoe Street in Fort Worth, West 7 Entertainment District. Police responded to the scene around 1:40 a.m. after receiving reports of gunfire inside the club. Upon arrival, officers found 31-year-old Patrick Allen suffering from multiple gunshot wounds to his upper torso. Despite immediate medical attention, Allen was pronounced dead at the scene. In addition to the fatality, 5 other patrons were also injured and transported to a local hospital. Authorities later confirmed that all 5 injured individuals are in stable condition. Initial reports indicate that the suspect fled on foot before police arrived. The investigation is ongoing, and as of the latest updates, no arrests have been made yet. Authorities have suggested that the shooting may be gang-related, though officials cautions that this is still under investigation and details remain fluid. The West 7 District, known for its nightlife and entertainment venues, has experienced multiple incidents of violence over the past several years. Local leaders and law enforcement officials are expressing concerns over the safety of both residents and visitors, emphasizing the importance of community cooperation and timely reporting of information to aid investigation. This shooting is a stark reminder of the vulnerability of nightlife district to violent incidents. Questions remain about how to balance public safety with vibrant entertainment districts and what proactive measures can be taken to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Residents and patrons are now left grappling with the emotional and physical consequence of the night's events while authorities continue to investigate and seek justice for the victims. The community response highlights the importance of vigilance, public awareness, and the ongoing dialogue around violence prevention in urban areas. And also adding to issues in Texas, a devastating incident also unfolded in Angleton, Texas, early Saturday morning as well. Saturday, October 4th, when a mother allegedly shot her 4 children, resulting 2 fatalities and two others hospitalized. The tragedy has left the community in shock and raised urgent questions about mental health and family safety. Oninda Romelis, 31-year-old mother from Porter, Texas, has been charged with 2 counts. Of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after allegedly shooting her 4 children. The incident occurred in a vehicle at a gas station in Angleton, approximately 45 miles south from Houston. Romelis reportedly called 911 at 4:48 a.m., stating that she needed assistance. Upon arrival, deputies discovered a 13-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl deceased inside of the vehicle. 2 other children, 8 and 9, were seriously injured and airlifted to a Houston area hospital, where they are currently in stable condition. Investigators have not disclosed a clear motive for the shootings. Romelius, I think it's Romelius or Romelius, allegedly told authorities that she believed her children were with the devil and that she had been attempting to call the devil rather than 911, suggesting possible mental health crisis. Her statements were reportedly incoherent, and authorities are continuing to investigate the circumstances surrounding the incident. Romelius is being held on a $14 million bond. The Rosario County Sheriff's Office, with assistance from Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, is leading the investigation. The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services is also involved in the case. This tragedy underscores the critical importance of mental health awareness and intervention, particularly within families. As authorities continue their investigation, the community grapples with the profound loss and the need for enhanced support systems to prevent such incidents in the future. What the heck? Oh my God. Moving to the next tragedy, because it was just a weekend worth of tragedies. But yeah, let's do this is the last tragedy? Yeah, this is the last tragedy. in a devastating incident on late Saturday, a mass shooting in downtown Montgomery, Alabama, resulted in 2 fatalities and 12 injuries. The violence erupted in a crowded area near the intersection of Bibb Street and Commerce Street, a popular nightlife district in the state's capital. At approximately 11:30 p.m., rival gunmen opened fire on each other in the midst of a bustling crowd. The altercation began when one individual was targeted, prompting multiple people in the vicinity to draw their weapons and return fire. The chaotic scene unfolded near landmarks such as the Hank Williams Museum and the Rosa Parks Museum, which were surrounded by thousands of attendees celebrating various events, including the Tuskegee Morehouse a football game, and the Alabama National Fair, and the Alabama State University homecoming festivities as well. 2 individuals were killed in the exchange: 17-year-old Jeremiah Morris and a 43-year-old Shalonda Williams. Among the 12 injured, 5 are reported to have life-threatening injuries. Notably, 7 of the victims were under the age of 20, with the youngest being 16 years old. Authorities have confirmed that multiple firearms, including high-capacity magazines, were recovered at the scene. Montgomery Police Chief Jim Grabois condemned the incident as a senseless act, emphasizing that the shooter showed no regard of the safety of bystanders. He noted that police units were within 50 feet of the location when the gunfire broke out and responded immediately. Despite their proximity, no arrests have been made, and the investigation is ongoing. The FBI, ATF, and local law enforcement agencies are collaborating to identify the individuals responsible. In response to the tragedy, Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed announced a $50,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those involved. He emphasized that the shooting was unrelated to the weekend's event and underscored the need for community cooperation to ensure justice. This tragic event highlights the ongoing challenges of gun violence in urban areas, particularly in crowded public spaces. As the investigation continues, questions arise about the effectiveness of current public safety measures and the need for comprehensive strategies to prevent such incidents in the future. The community of Montgomery now faces the difficult task of healing from the senseless act of violence. Now, out of all those 3 tragedies, Revelation, which one sounded, I mean, they're all bad, right? But which one sounded the worst?
Um, Damn.
I think the worst one for me was the woman that said that the kids were working with the devil and she had to shoot them.
Yeah, I would have to say so.
No, that's insane.
Because that's some seriously fucked up shit.
Yes. Let's see here.
Because imagine being the police having to respond to that shit. You're like, oh well, you know, there's a domestic disturbance. You got to respond to it. Because then you're already on heightened alert. Because that's literally the worst call a cop can get. So you go in, and you fucking see some lady with a goddamn gun. Her kids are tied up. Fucking weird ass fucking satanic marks everywhere, and you're like, fucking. So obviously, fucking, she's probably thinking you're some weird ass demon or something. Fucking, she goes to pull out, like, she probably pulls the pistol on you. Now you gotta shoot her. Or maybe the kids are already dead. I don't fucking know. So, maybe at that point, you're seeing that she has a gun in her hand. Fucking kids are dead. What do you do? At that point, you got no choice but to fucking shoot her, because your logical conclusion is this bitch just killed her kids, and you're the only 2 people there. What's gonna happen, if we don't, do anything? she's gonna shoot us. You know, and the shit's already weird because fucking the environment here. That's gotta be that's some shit that stays with you.
Yeah. I am trying to get a hold of somebody important, but I don't know how to do it without getting our camera moved, and I don't want to get our camera moved. So hopefully he sees it and lets us know. Because I didn't want to talk about this topic unless he was going to be in here. Um, do you have anything that you want to talk about? Well, I could try to get a hold of him.
Surprisingly, I could not find any worthwhile articles this time around.
Oh, I thought you
We're up
had
in a
an
doggy
article.
doo-doo.
I thought you had an article about corn dogs.
Oh, oh shit! Yeah, I hadn't completely forgot to read that one. Doo-doo-doo. Let me bop up this article. Come on, come on, you stupid thing. So here it is. So Foster Poultry Farms recalls nearly 4 million pounds of chicken corn dogs due to, and get this, wood in the batter. Not the fucking dog, the batter. And so they're recalling more than 3.8 million pounds of chicken corn dog products after wood was found in the batter, resulting in injuries. Keyword there. According to a notice posted on Saturday on the Agricultural Department's Food Safety and Inspection Service, the company, based in Livingston, California, received numerous complaints about finding wood in the batter of the products, including reports of at least 5 injuries. The chicken corn dog products were made between the 30th of July 2024 and the 4th of August 2025. Sold under a variety of names, including chicken corn dogs batter, wrapped chicken frankfurters on a stick, corn dogs, chicken franks dipped in honey batter, and other names. All names and labels of the contaminated products can be found on the FCIS site. The products subject to the recall have the number P-6137B printed on either side of the USDA mark of inspection or printed on the packaging. God damn it, stop with the ads. The recall follows a week earlier of 58 million pounds of corn dogs and other sausage on a stick products made by Texas brand Hillshire Brands, which is a subsidiary of Tyson Foods. Foreign object contamination is one of the top reasons for food recalls in the U.S. Beyond plastic, metal fragments, bits of bugs, and more extraneous materials have prompted recalls by making their way into packaged goods. That is the end of the article right there.
No recall numbers, no nothing.
Yeah, there was a recall number. I had said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making sure. Well, I let a good
Yeah.
friend know, but I don't think he's looking at the message. But it's okay. We'll just skip it for now. Yeah, all right. Let's turn to a shocking story involving the former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez, a man once known for leading the New York Jets to back-to-back AFC Championship appearances, now making headlines for all the wrong reasons. What started as a simple parking dispute in Indianapolis has spiraled into a violent altercation, a felony battery charge, and a lawsuit that could have serious consequences for Sanchez's career and reputation. According to the Indianapolis police, the incident happened early Saturday morning near a hotel loading dock. where Sanchez reportedly got into a confrontation with a 69-year-old truck driver who was collecting used cooking oil from a nearby restaurant. Authorities say Sanchez appeared intoxicated, smelled of alcohol, and began yelling at the driver uh, over how his vehicle was parked. The argument quickly escalated. Witnesses told police that Sanchez approached the truck, opened the driver door, and allegedly grabbed or shoved him in during the dispute. The driver identified as, sorry, the driver identified only as PT
I'm just
told,
trying to get my
oh
medicinal
my God, how we
cup.
doing today, sir? Let me finish this quick topic. Do you have an AI source that you are gonna give us today? Can you hear me, sir? Welcome.
Um, yeah, but I don't particularly want to read all of it. It's in a weird format.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a quick thing that you could have just skimmed through it real quick. If you need the whole thing, I can try to send you the whole thing. Everybody, this is our good friend Lords. He's the man insight about anything and everything that has to do with recent technology updates, AI updates, anything updates that involve anything like that. Let me finish this quick article, and then we'll jump into that if you have just a few minutes real quick. Where was I here? Intoxicated, opened the door. The driver, identified as PT, told investigators that Sanchez became physically aggressive, throwing him to the ground and even trying to force his way into the vehicle. The driver say he pepper sprayed Sanchez, but when that didn't stop him, he pulled a knife, and in self-defense, moments later, Sanchez suffered multiple stab wounds to his upper torso and collapsed near the loading area. Both men were hospitalized. Sanchez is in stable condition, and the driver treated for a severe cheek laceration and bruising. Police originally charged Sanchez with 3 misdemeanors: battery with injury, unlawful entry of a motor vehicle, and public intoxication. But after reviewing surveillance footage and medical evidence, prosecutors upgraded the case to a felony. Battery resulting in serious bodily injury, a charge that could carry up to 6 years in prison under the Indiana law. The driver attorney says his client acted purely in self-defense, claiming Sanchez was belligerent, intoxicated, and dangerously out of control. Meanwhile, Sanchez camp has yet to issue a formal statement. Adding to the drama, the driver has now filed a civil lawsuit alleging Sanchez left him permanently disfigured after the altercation. The suit accuses the former quarterback of attempting to body slam him into a dumpster and even trying to use a knife against him before being stabbed. The man's injuries reportedly include damage to his cheek, jaw, neck, and tongue, and he's seeking substantial damages for pain, trauma, and loss of income. Sanchez, who was in Indianapolis to cover the Colts versus Raiders game for Fox Sports, was quickly pulled from the broadcasting lineup, and with Brady Quinn stepping in as a replacement. Fox Sports has not yet commented on Sanchez's employment status or whether disciplinary actions will follow. This case is a reminder of how fast a moment of anger can spiral into life-changing situations. It also raises questions about celebrity accountability, how public figures handle themselves off camera, and the broader issues of self-defense laws in America. When dispute over parking turns into a knife fight, something deeply wrong, not just with tempers, but how easily conflict can escalate in public spaces. The court's proceedings are expected to begin in November, and the outcome could set a powerful example for how violent confrontations involving public figures are handled moving forward. Now moving it back to you, Lords. The that is called I think OpenAI announces something to do with AMD chip.
Guess not.
Are you there, Lords?
Yeah, I was yelling at my dogs. I was muted again.
Oh, it's okay.
They're
So,
barking at every car going down the street.
yeah, the thing is called OpenAI and chip maker AMD sign chip supply partnership for AI infrastructure. It's the most trending thing right now. It's been updated by 5 o'clock today so far.
Yep, OpenAI is committed to deploying a staggering 6 gigawatts of AMD's next generation GPUs, starting with the Instinct MI450 series in the second half of 2026. This deployment is part of OpenAI's broader strategy to build a robust AI infrastructure capable of supporting the intensive computational needs of advanced AI models. But they really just need citizens' approval. They're getting a lot of backlash there.
Yep. Yep. Do you have anything else that you know so far besides this OpenAI? Anything that maybe came up over the weekend as well?
Uh, Not particularly.
People are asking, though, what kind of deal is this? No mention in any news report about how much OpenAI is paying AMD. In fact, AMD is giving $160 million in stock to OpenAI, with only the Vegas of pricing and value. IOW, it looks like AMD is giving product and stock to OpenAI for the privilege of shipping product. They're giving OpenAI the money to buy. This is a sham accounting puffery. What do you think about that?
That's kind of like us trying to control, well, the U.S. trying to control NVIDIA's stock of AI GPUs going across seas.
Oh, yeah, that just happened over the summer, right? Something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nothing. Microsoft is trying to buy Steam.
Well, there goes that.
Although it's not gonna happen, I know that. As long as what's his face is owner of Steam, he won't ever sell.
I don't know. According to reports here, it says no, Microsoft is not buying Steam. The reports in May 2024 about a 16 billion bid were a misunderstanding of a leaked document from 2020 that showed Microsoft had internally considered buying Valve at one point, an idea that never progressed past internal discussions and was not an active plan. Industry insider like Tom Warren of The Verge have confirmed that the rumor is false and that there are no current plans for Microsoft to acquire Valve or Steam.
Oh yeah, okay.
We got to be careful now. We got to give the right information to the public.
Oh yeah, that one was. I was about to say because I definitely do not want that to happen.
No. Yeah. What else do we have here? We got just a few more to go. Thank you so much, Lords. We appreciate you coming in and giving us the latest insight of the on any technology that is trending.
No problem.
Moving along now, after years of silence and speculations, legendary Canadian rock band Rush has officially announced a long-awaited reunion tour, their first in over a decade, and their first since the tragic passing of drummer and lyricist Neil Peart in 2020. The tour, titled 50 Something, marks both a celebration of the band's 50-plus years of legacy and heartfelt tribute to the member who helped define their sound and spirit. The reunion was confirmed by surviving member Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, who revealed that the tour will begin June 2026 with 2 shows at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles and the same venue where Rush performed their final concert in 2015. The band will perform 20 shows across 7 major cities, including Mexico City, Fort Worth, Chicago, New York, Toronto, and Cleveland. I'm going to have to try to make a trip to the Cleveland show, where the tour is set to conclude in September. In the wake of Pert's death from brain cancer, the future Rush seemed uncertain. Both Lee and Lifeson had expressed doubts about performing again without their bandmate, but in recent interviews, the duo described this tour as a way to honor Neil Peart properly, with sound, memory, and music. To fill the nearly impossible role behind the drum kit, Rush has enlisted Annika Nielis, a German drummer renowned for her precision, creativity, and emotional delivery. While fans initially expressed mixed feelings about someone else playing Pert's parts, Nielis has earned widespread respect for approaching the role with humility and reverence rather than imitation, and that's perfect. According to sources close to the band, the set list will span Rush's entire catalog. Wow. Featuring hits like Tom Sawyer, The Spirit of the Radio, The Limelight, as well as the deeper cuts chosen to reflect Pert's lyrical genius. Sorry about that. Several performances are expected to include visual tributes to the late drummer, highlighting his influence on the band's music and millions of fans worldwide. Each city will host 2 night residencies, allowing Rush to deliver a varied set list and unique moments across back-to-back shows. Fans can expect immersive visuals like live storytelling and never-before-seen archival footage from the band's 5 decades of work together. Pert's family has reportedly given the tour their full blessing. His widow, Carrie Nuttall Peart, released a statement expressing gratitude to Lee and Lifeson for continuing to share Neil's music with the world. Let me take a sip real quick. Quote, Neil would have loved to see fans still celebrating what they built together. He believed music was eternal, and this tour is a beautiful reminder of that. Rush Reunion is more than just a comeback. It's a meditation on loss, endurance, and legacy. The 50-something tour isn't about replacing Neil Peart. It's about preserving the magic he helped create. For longtime fans, the tour is a chance to reconnect with a sound that shaped generations. For new listeners, and it's an invitation to witness living rock history. As Lee and Lifeson step back onto the stage, they're not just revisiting old songs, they're rewriting the story of how band carries on after a loss. It's a question that echoes beyond music. How do we honor those we lost while continuing to move forward? For Rush, the answer seems clear. You keep playing. And I wish them the best. I hope that maybe me and my dad can go next year to see them in Cleveland, because I always wanted to see them when Neil Peart was around. It's sad that the best drummer in the world is gone. The technique, the musicality of the gentleman, nothing compares to that drummer. There's other drummers out there, yes, of course, but the way that Neil Peart played, very magical. Moving on real quick, and what's being called one of the most unprecedented crossovers in sports and politics, President Donald Trump has officially announced that the UFC will host a 5-night card at the the UFC will host a live fight card at the White House on June 14, 2026, his 80th birthday. The event, dubbed UFC and White House, will mark the first time professional sports event of this scale has ever taken place on presidential grounds. Speaking from the East Room on Friday, Trump confirmed the date alongside UFC. President Dana White, calling it a celebration of American strength and discipline and freedom. The plan calls for a full UFC octagon to be built on the South Lawn, where thousands of guests, including military veterans, first responders, and select ticket holders, will gather for what's already being described as a once in a generation spectacle. According to sources close to the event, UFC will cover all associated costs, including 700,000 in-lawn restoration after the event concludes. The Lincoln Memorial is being considered for the official weigh-ins, symbolizing the blend of national history and modern athleticism. While no official card has been finalized, early reports suggest UFC is working to secure headline fighters such as John Jones, Conor McGregor, Khamzat Chimaev, with several championship bouts under consideration. Dana White teased that the event will feature the most patriotic, explosive fight card we've ever put together. Trump, who has been a longtime supporter of the UFC, dating back to hosting early events at his Atlantic City properties, said the idea came from conversation with White earlier this year, when Dana White said we should bring the octagon to the people's house. I said, let's do it. Let's make history. The event is also expected to draw international attention, as it will coincide with Trump's birthday celebration and come just months ahead of the 2026 midterms election. The symbolic timing has sparked both praise and criticism. Supporters see it as a display of confidence and patriotism, while critics call it a political stunt using the White House as an entertainment venue. According to reports, ticket distribution will prioritize veterans, law enforcement, and active duty service members, though a limited number of public seats will be auctioned for charity. Security preparations are already underway, with the Secret Service coordinating with UFC and local DC officials. Dana White addressed safety and logistics concerns in a statement saying, "We've hosted fights in Vegas, Abu Dhabi, Madison Square Garden, but this will be different. This is the White House. Every inch of this event will honor that setting." The event will stream live on ESPN Plus and UFC Fight Pass, and will include tributes to American fighters, veterans, and service members. Whether you see it in a bold fusion of sports and politics, or high stakes publicity play, UFC X White House is said to be one of the most talked about events of 2026. It blurs the lines between spectacle and statecraft, the octagon literally meeting the Oval Office. The question now is, does this kind of crossover strengthens Americans' cultural identity, or does it cheapen the symbolism of the presidency? Can an event designed to showcase grit and honor coexist with the optics of political theater? What do you guys think about that before I finish off on that?
I mean,
It's going to be a spectacle. Because no matter if we want it or not, it's going to happen.
If the UFC gets the contract to go to a place, they go where the money goes. I mean,
Dana White is paying to fix the lawn after they're done.
he would have to.
Well, he just said, it says it right here. It says he'll pay the $700,000 after the fight to fix the lawn.
I mean, you imagine how much money they probably made in Abu Dhabi? Probably quite a bit of money.
I mean, right now the owners of any major wrestling, UFC, I think they even own half of fucking ESPN. It's Abu Dhabi. It's those people from Arabia. Yeah, that guy that I showed you, that I sent you a picture of, that was sitting next to him. What was that guy's name again?
I think he's like a prince of Saudi Arabia.
Guy sits.
Man's just buying stuff up because he has too much money.
No, he's actually one of the owners now. Of all the major. Dana White and
Yeah, he's like, I think, one of the princes of Saudi Arabia.
White.
It's literal oil money they're using. Like, it's why
Man.
Saudi Arabia is so rich.
Terrence Crawford.
Like, I want to say Saudi Arabia controls like most of the world's oil.
I don't know if this is him, but it says his name is Turkey Alaskik. Turkey Alaskik, something like that. Yeah, it says Dana White said next to the Saudi Arabian sports promoter Turkey Alaskik. The two were promoting the event together under the TKO banner, marking UFC CEO White's entry into boxing, according to Sport Bible. Yeah. So yeah, that guy, the Turkey Alal, I can't say the full name. Um, he's practically the owner of the TKO company, so which is the UFC is under that TKO brand.
Yeah, they have quite a substantial amount of funds, and they're just like, yeah, this will bring us even more funds if we can get a contract to go do over here. And so you figure, whereas the big draw in the past few years for a lot of places was, hey, let's go fight in like a baseball stadium or a football stadium or a soccer stadium. Now it's in like novelty places like that.
Yeah, and that dude is made out of money. And he's 44 years old.
Yeah, like I'm saying, anybody in who's a fairly, fair power in Saudi Arabia is,
Says the Turkey Alauski has reported a network of 2.8 billion, according to sources
yeah.
like Essentially Sports and Marca. Though this figure is estimated based on his sports and government activities, his wealth is drawn from his prominent roles in Saudi Arabian sports and government, including being chairman of the General Entertainment Authority and an advisor to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Laden. Oh, sorry, Mohammed bin Salman, not bin
Yeah,
Laden.
you
He's
should
dead.
see you should see what his money is worth.
Which one? The Prince Mohammed?
Yeah.
Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. That dude has a smile that will break his own face. How happy he looks. Holy crap. Holy crap. How much you think he is worth? The dude it says that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's personal net worth is not publicly available, but the collective net worth of the House of Saud is estimated at 1.4 trillion, a figure that includes the Saudi state-owned company, Saudi Aramco, and the country's significant fossil fuel reserves. So, woo, the money's flowing, baby. Literally. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the show. Anything else that you guys would like to say? I know what you're going to say, Revelation, but do you have anything else that you want to say besides what you're about to say? All right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you Revelations Daily Reminder.
Bring them over to your nation, your neighbor's nation, maybe your friend's nation across the street, or maybe just just make an egg salad sandwich with it. Which, by the way, guys, if you actually did make that egg salad sandwich, in the comments, let us know how it actually was.
The heck is going on? I hear music. Where is it coming from?
Or maybe you're just insane.
You hear it too?
No.
Holy crap, what's going on? We're having difficulties here because I don't know where it's coming from.
Again, like I said, if you actually made the egg salad sandwich, recipe from a while ago, let us know how it was in the comments.
Well, I had to close everything down. Now we don't know. Now I don't have everything up. Dang it. It's okay. So yeah,
Hey, what are we gonna do with you?
I know. I'm not on the ball. I even ended up closing. Well, hopefully we're still live. Are we still live? I hope so. Okay, we are live. I'm not on the ball, but we're gonna be on the ball now. We are live. We're still live. Yeah, we're still live. Good. We're still live. Ha! Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry about that. Sometimes things can go smooth. Sometimes things don't go smooth. The only reason why I was having this technical difficulty was because I started hearing a sound, and then at some point in our conversation, I must have pressed a button that said ending, and I don't recall when that happened. So I'm sorry about that. I think the ending screen was up for just a few minutes, but now we're truly gonna be ending the show, ladies and gentlemen. So before we wrap up tonight's jam-packed episode, let's take a moment for something that truly matters. Beyond these headlines that we brought you on today, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, mental health help is available 24/7. You can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Free, confidential, and always open. And if you or someone you love is facing domestic violence, you're not alone. Reach out to National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or visit the hotline.org. You deserve safety, support, and peace no matter what. Take a moment to check on yourself and those around you. Strength isn't just physical; it's emotional. And seeking help is a sign of courage. So that's it for episode 15 of the Unbound Podcast. We covered everything from breaking news and political drama to sports, entertainment, and even historic events unfolding right before our eyes. I'm Jay Morales, reminding you to stay aware, stay grounded, and most importantly, stay unbound. I'm going to leave it to my colleagues here to say their goodbyes, and then that's it.
You're
Yeet.
Have a very nice evening, everybody. We'll catch you tomorrow. Before I forget, because I already forgot, shout out to the K-Ville Hotel and Tavern in Klein-Fettersville, Pennsylvania. Make sure to check us every Monday on Producer Mike Presents channel for the movement, 12 p.m. Eastern. Shout out to the Jessup crew. Shout out to Eddie Weber. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to my dad, the #1 supporter of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
All right.